glare out of here. Yeah, well, it's thirsty. Hold on, let's set this off right. I want to start this right. This is the tone. And since our man Kendrick took off the copyright claims, this is perfect. This is perfect to set the tone. Like Tizo trying to see Compton. Fuck them all in their mama. Too many options. I'm John Stockton. Beat your ass and hide the Bible if God watching. I'm the one that up the score with him. Because there's a lot of discussion going around about this. So let's tap in. You had your little sister from him. Playing with his nose now. Why is he around? Certified pedophile. I'm going to do my stuff. Ain't you tired? And it's probably A minor. This the tone right here. This the tone. What is black culture? Like that's really what he's saying. What is black culture? I want to have a discussion about it. Bird niggas and bird bitches go. What is black culture? It's a lot of talk. It's a lot of talk about it. It's a lot of talk about it. What are we even talking about when we say culture? The other vaginal option. What up? What up? What up? What is black culture? What is black culture? And this isn't like this isn't bait, clickbait or nothing like that. Like seriously, what is black culture? What is black culture? I think we need to discuss it. I think we all need to discuss it as Americans, as black Americans. I think we all need to discuss it. What is black culture? Without the emotion, without an emotional um attack or defense, like without feeling defensive or being defensive. What is black culture? Because when I personally think of culture, any type of culture where people hold on to their culture, they're all positive things that bind and unite those people that go back, you know, time. And in many cases, in most cases that I've ever known of people that I know from different continents and different countries, it's they're like traditions that it's a cultural tradition that is passed down from generation to generation, that's taught from generation to generation, no matter what it is. It's a part of their culture. So it's not a bad question to ask, what is culture? And let me say, for me, I remember when Kwanzaa was first started. I remember when Kwanzaa was first started, which is a complete African American celebration, supposed to be of culture. It has nothing to do with religion. People think it's supposed to replace Christmas, but scripture speaks on that. So even that is all man made, the decorating of trees and all like this here. But that's not where I'm going. we have rejected Kwanzaa. That was something that was created by an African American man in the mid 90s to help unite Black Americans and to help identify our culture. And Black Americans have rejected Kwanzaa. We've rejected Kwanzaa. It's not something that we celebrate. It's not something that we participate in. It's not something that we teach our children about. When all the seven principles, the 7 days of Kwanzaa, is strictly about us as Black Americans creating and defining our culture. That's strictly what it's about. He created that to give us something. But when several times I've attempted to have these discussions, what is Black culture? What is Black culture? Food that kills us? Having multiple children out of wedlock? Um, what is Black culture? There was a whole period of time where you had our men that would refuse now, not couldn't, but refused to get a job because that was some simp shit and they'd rather drug deal. Is that Black culture? The refusal to create a business, like I told my brother, couple years ago. He was like, I see you, sis. I see you, you know, doing your business thing. And he was asking me questions. Now, again, he's still even out of prison. He robbed folks, went back in for 5 years, and then it was that time after the 14 years he got out. He was out for less than 2 years. They were watching him. He hung out with the same people. They robbed some folks. He went back in for another 5 years, and then that time when he got out. And keep in mind, he's 6 years older than me. He went in when he was in his early 20s. He got out in his 40s and hadn't changed because his mind was still where it was. So then when he get out from them 5 years, now he want to try and do right. But it was difficult for him to take that street hustle and flip it into a business mindset to know how to really make things happen. You know what I mean? Right? So we have very intelligent Black men who have taken that road. Are we going to call that Black culture? Is that what we want to hold on to as Black culture? Because anytime someone Black speaks on Blackness and say we should hold ourselves to a higher standard, we get called coons. We get called sellouts. We're a sellout for saying we should do better and we should carry ourselves better. We're a sellout. We're a sellout for saying, pull up your pants. I don't want to see your ass. I don't need to know exactly everything about the underwear you have on. You look crazy with your entire ass out, your entire ass, and the belt going under the cup of your booty. This is what we want to say as Black culture. What is Black culture? Because all the people that I know, even Black, that are from a different continent, they can tell me about things that go on and go on and go on that has been going on for centuries that is a part of their culture. And these are not negative attributes that bring their nationality down, that bring their tribal people down. Because everything that we may say we want to hold on to as culture, they're things that have brought us down. They're not things that have uplifted us. They are not things that anyone else um, applauds, not even within our own group. So I think this is a healthy conversation with no emotion to say, what is Black culture? We need to identify what is Black culture. We've rejected Kwanzaa and all seven principles of Kwanzaa, which even that right there, if we were to really latch on to Kwanzaa and really uphold it and celebrate Kwanzaa, within 50 years, there will be many, many, many Black owned businesses, commercial businesses. We would be able to participate in nepotism. Our children would not have to fill out employees for applications for jobs for people that hate them and despise them, because they could work in the family business. Or I'd rather your kids come work for me and my kids go work for you, because it's still all in the community. Our money wouldn't only stay in the community for 6 minutes. Our money would have 18 months within our own community before it needed to go outside of the black community. What is black culture? When it's an open discussion, we need to come in and join in on these discussions so we can define what is black culture. What exactly is black culture? What exactly is black culture? You should go ask your mama that question. There you go. There you go. Why is it that the Africans don't have so many businesses? What Africans? What Africans? Africans have many businesses. They have whole strip malls dedicated to their people. What Africans are you talking about? African Americans? Africans have plenty of businesses. They come here, they pool their money. They do the same thing as every other culture do. Every other The Asians do it, um, the Mexicans do it. Now I'm seeing the Filipinos do it. Everybody does it except for Black Americans. Except for Black Americans. And even the title should uh, uh, run away or not attract anybody who's not Black. I don't even know why anybody who's not Black is on here, because, and that's the thing too. I feel like even the question, it's taken for a joke. We are taken for a joke. Maybe in your city or your state, I know in Arizona there are plenty of Africans with businesses. Like I say, strip malls. Minnesota, plenty, plenty of Africans with whole strip malls. But they don't need to go and get Burger Kings and shit like that. Plenty of Gambians own strip malls in North Minneapolis. So, you have to expand. I'm a nomad, so I've lived in several states. If maybe you're just talking about in your little bubble of the world, I don't know. But plenty, even here in California, there are African. Even I know people in Atlanta, there are African businesses, strip malls. But here's the thing, they cater to their own people. They have uh, dried fish and different of their native foods shipped in, because when they go back home, I know, like for example, the Gambians, they get these big crates. They rent these big shipments, and if anybody need to send something back home, whether it's a vehicle or boxes and boxes of clothes for their family, no matter what it is, they'll put it on that crate and they'll ship it, right? And coming back, they'll have dried fish coming back, certain herbs, certain different types of foods that's not available anywhere on North America, on the North American continent. And this is what's sold in their stores. So Americans aren't going to those stores because we don't cook African foods. We don't know about that. We don't know about that. We don't know about these certain types of dried fish and all these different things. So maybe that's why you don't know, because maybe you're American, or I don't know what you are. There's no picture, but that's not your area. That's not, and I know because I cook African food, so I need those seasonings and those flavors. So no matter what state I'm in, I'm going to be looking for the African markets because I know they exist. But if that's not what you know about, then that's just not what you know about. But just because you don't know about it doesn't mean it don't exist. Your knowledge is just limited. No, here's the thing. I, I mean, you sound like an American, so I'm pretty sure you're American. You sound like you're American. You sound like you believe everything the every piece of propaganda America shows you. Just like when they come here, and it's not your fault. It's not your fault. America does the same thing outside of America. My African mother, not my birth mother, but one of my I call her my African mother. She's African, and she was like a mother to me. There was a Chinese man who I talked to, and my ex-husband who's Gambian. These people, these three people, all said the same thing when they came here. They were shocked by seeing America because what they see in their countries, what America shows on the media in their country, is only wealth. My ex-husband said when he came here, and the Chinese man said when they came here and saw homeless white people in New York begging and sleeping in the subway station, they were like, this is not America that I'm in. When they see the homelessness, my ex-husband said there's no way I could be homeless in my own country. There's no way. Now we know the level of homelessness in America. Let's not act like we don't. We know the level of poverty in America. Let's not act like we don't. But what we don't take advantage of is the opportunities in America. And then you got to think about the currency exchange. Baby, this is chess, not checkers, and not connect the dots. You got to think about the currency exchange rate. And if you have the intellect to live, and not only, before I get into that, how many Americans have lived on another continent? We talk shit about people that come from other continents and other countries within those continents. But baby, they're living on a whole other continent. They have moved on the other side of the world and are flourishing. And we're not, because we have no unity. All of these groups of people, they pool their money together. They work together. Even my ex-husband, you will have three or four or five dudes living in a 3 or 4 or 5 bedroom home, all sharing the rent. We won't do nothing like that. We won't do anything like that. They have large communities pooling their money every month. They put a certain amount into the pot every single month. At the end of the year, they pull a name, one person gets that money, and they start a business, and they keep that going on. And what they do that for, because they're like, this isn't my country. So if anybody gets into any type of anything with immigration or anything, they have the money to support them and help them, whether it's getting an attorney or whatever it is. I've seen the Asians do it. We've watched the Mexicans do it. We watched and laughed at the Mexicans do it. And now look around you. Mexicans owning gas stations, laundromats, restaurants, all kinds of things. So let's not talk about people who know life on in their country and on their continent and ours. Because how many Americans, not even just black, but how many Americans don't even have a passport? So let's not talk about people who know their country, their continent, and now know ours, and now are thriving and flourishing because they understand the assignment. And the assignment is unity. They understand the assignment. Like Earn Your Leisure and everyone else always says, success leaves clues. Even our own ancestors left clues. But we decided not to pick up the ball. So, like I said, what is black culture? What is black culture? We get offended by that, but what is black culture? I repeat, we have rejected Kwanzaa and the seven principles of Kwanzaa. What is black culture? What is black culture? Whining, complaining, pointing fingers at everyone else? What is black culture? Blaming everybody else? What is black culture? Having multiple kids by different men, men having kids that they don't take care of. What is black culture? Growing up in a home with a single mom and she got a bunch of kids by a bunch of different men and we watch her struggle growing up on welfare. What is black culture? What is black culture? What is black culture? And is black culture, that is anything that you will name to be black culture, is that, are you teaching your children that? Are you teaching your children that it's okay to be a girl and have five baby daddies? Are you teaching your sons that it's okay to walk away from your children? Are you teaching your children that it's okay to get it how you live? Because YOLO, don't try to do anything. Don't try to use your skills to create something for yourself. What is black culture? What is black culture? Greetings to Turkey. What is black culture? I hope somebody think of something to say. This is a legitimate question. And that's the thing. We don't take anything seriously. We take everything for a joke. All we want to do is just try and talk about people. All we want to do is just cap, 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 cap. Nobody has said anything intelligent or even answered any part of the question. What is black culture? Nobody has said anything. Y'all just on here proving yourselves to be clowns. What is black culture? What is black culture? Why are you even on here? You have too much time on your hands. You have too much time on your hands to see a title, What is Black Culture, on a live, and you come on here with jokes and buffoonery. What is black culture? So, I don't, that's the problem. We don't want to intellectually engage in these type of conversations, and that is one of the reasons the world is laughing at us. That is why we're so easy to be picked off and separated and divided, because we have no unity. We have no common sense. What was the last book you've read that wasn't some nonsense? What is black culture? In your opinion, what is black culture to you? What do you think black culture is? Have you ever once even acknowledged or celebrated Kwanzaa? Do you know even one of the seven principles of Kwanzaa? What's so bad about Kwanzaa? It's not an organized religion at all. It was created to give us culture, to give us something where we can unite and stand proud and tall and be proud of and teach our children about. But what is black culture? Ski! Is that it? Is that it? Is that it? I don't even know. That's all I know. I don't even know that damn song. But I know that. I hear that. I see reels of kids who can't even spell, but they can say that. What is black culture? What is black culture? Rapping and singing about things that completely damage our community. Is that black culture? Is that black culture? What is black culture? What is black culture? Because we need to define it. We need something. We need something. We don't have any rites of passage. What is the rites of passage that we have within the black community that will transition our boys into manhood? What is the rite of passage that we have that will transition our young girls into womanhood? And this is probably foreign to you because I don't know if you know any quote unquote foreigners or talk to people about what their cultures and traditions are, but that is not a ridiculous thing. That is not a ridiculous question. That is not a ridiculous question. We know uh, about the bar mitzvah. We know about the quinceañera. My ex-husband told me about even how the boys, how um, it's a whole ritual around how the boys and when the boys get circumcised, and how it's all done, and what the meaning behind everything else that's done outside of the physical circumcision. Well, Haiti is on the North American continent, but Haiti is Haiti. Haiti is a country on the North American continent. Haiti is not a part of the United States of America. And Haitians do have culture. Haiti has a culture. And Haiti is the only country of blacks that defeated their oppressor. The only ones that actually whipped and defeated their oppressor. When Haiti had the tsunami, was it the tsunami? Was it they had some big natural disaster over a decade ago. The United States government sent them a bunch of seeds. Haiti sent them shits right back. We don't want your seeds. We're going to rebuild our own land with our own food. We don't need your seeds. We have our own seeds. We have our own food. We don't even have that type of guts as Black Americans. We don't have them kind of balls. We don't have that kind of courage. Haitians are Haitians, and I think it's an insult. And as a Black American, don't take offense, but I mean, I'm offended being a Black American and seeing how big of pussies we've become. But Haitians, yeah, they have whatever the Haitian culture is, but Haitians are Haitians. Haitians are not Americans. We need to understand that. I I I cannot disagree with that. I cannot disagree with that. I mean, the comment said people are made up of two types of leaders and followers. Black culture are followers. Even just the fact that we truly cannot define black culture. We don't have any rites of passage. We have modeled ourselves after the European whites who colonized this land. We have modeled ourselves after because European white Americans, they don't have any culture either. They don't have any culture. They don't have any white rites of passage. They don't have anything either. What they have that we don't have is they know their lineage. They know their lineage. We don't even know our lineage, so we reject it and we just say, "Look, I'm just American. I'm not African. I'm not this, that, and the third." We don't even have the option of knowing our lineage and then deciding to reject it. They know their lineage. And I've been saying this since I was a teenager because white folks can tell you without a 23andMe test, they can tell you because they mama told them, they daddy told them, they grandmama, they grandparents. They know where their people are from. They know their lineage. They know what their makeup is. And that's what they have that we don't have. We don't even know our lineage. But European white Americans, they don't have any culture either. What's the culture? The only people that have culture, in my opinion, in the United States of America, on the North American continent, are the indigenous people. You can call them Indian, you can call them Native American. Those are the only ones. And I know firsthand. My niece's mom is 50-50. Um, Ojibwe and black. And so my niece, she's a quarter, right? So she's the last one that has any rights to her um, native heritage, to any of her privileges. Her son, her none of her children, none of her children, none of her children do, because she doesn't have any children by any Native American man, either black or white. So she was, however, comma, her children, I know her firstborn son, my eldest great nephew, he would, they still go on the reservation because they know their tribe. They know my niece's mom, her maternal grandmother is full-blooded Ojibwe. She's passed away now, but she was full-blooded Ojibwe. So her mom, like I said, is 50-50. Her dad is black. Her mom was full-blooded Ojibwe. And so, they go to their reservation. My great nephew was learning, the rain dances and the drums, and he'd have his garb traditional garments that he'd wear. That is what I'm talking about. And not just with the clothing, but everything. That's culture, something that you pass on to your children. So his grandmother, my niece's mom, made sure he knows his reservation. He knows his lineage on his Ojibwe side, because that's my brother's daughter. We don't know. I mean, my brother don't even know his dad. My brother don't even know who his dad is, thanks to my mom. So, is this black culture? Is this black culture? Is that what we want to say? So, yes, we have done exactly what scripture has told us not to do. Do not follow your oppressor. Do not love your oppressor. Do not mix in with your oppressor and follow none of his ways. This is what scripture tells us. And we have done the exact opposite. So now here we are with no culture. And it's sad that we get offended by that instead of thinking critically, and to say, because we can't just say music and music and the way we dress, and that's those are the backgrounds. And how do we dress? How do we dress? How do we dress that's so spectacular? How do we dress? We wear European made clothing. How do we dress? How do we dress that can constitute culture? How do we dress? However we want to, in clothing made by Europeans. How do we dress that's supposed to uphold black culture, and that's supposed to be so different? How do we dress? How do we dress? We haven't even redefined our the foods, because let's think about this. The foods that we call soul food, the whole spread of soul food, what's the origin behind that? The origin behind that was enslaved black people who were given scraps. And just because we are um, resilient and we are innovative people, we created these different dishes. We created these dishes, and they were created in unhealthy ways. I mean, we've watched it. Come on, let's not act like we don't have families full of diabetes. Like we don't have families full of heart disease and all these issues that come from, as we know now, we can't debate it now. We know now that a lot of these, if not all of these diseases, come from what we put in our mouth. We know that now. So why haven't we redefined what soul food is, now that we aren't just given scraps? Now that we don't just have to take the fat back, the chicken backs, and just the gizzards, and the intestines. Now that we can actually go into a grocery store, we still eat like we're enslaved. We still eat like we're enslaved, and we've acquired a taste for it. So now we call it good. And I'm saying this as someone who stopped eating soul food when I was 20 years of age because I didn't want any of those health problems. I cleaned up and completely changed my diet when I was 20. I'm 49 right now. At 20 years of age, fit, athletic, fine as all get out, I said, I saw myself at 40 and I said, I don't want to look like my aunts. I don't want all them health issues. Let me cut this shit out. I stopped drinking soda. I stopped eating pork at 20 because we can walk into the front of the store now. We don't have to just eat the chicken back. The back, there's no meat on there. The gizzards. So all the meaty parts, the slave masters and the colonizers and the slave owners, that's what they ate. But the gizzards, the inside, the guts, throw to the slaves. And we're gonna make something delicious out of it. We don't have to eat like that anymore. So are we saying the food that's killing us, that's been killing us for 100 years, are we saying that's black culture? The food that killed our grandma, that's black culture? The food that have people inflamed and full of mucus and all kind of that's that's black culture. I don't want that. I don't want that for my culture. I don't want that. We can't have nothing better for black culture. Why did we as a whole, why did we as a whole reject Kwanzaa when it was created by an African American man for African Americans to give us something to unite on and to like look up the seven principles of Kwanzaa and then tell me what's bad about that. It's not a religion. That is what should be our culture. That is what should be our culture. And you know what's really sad? There are parts of African countries that celebrate Kwanzaa and teach their children about Kwanzaa in support of African Americans. And we ourselves have rejected it. We ourselves have rejected it. There are African children in countries in Africa who are learning about Kwanzaa and who celebrate Kwanzaa every single year, all 7 days. And here we are. What is black culture? Okay, the music. All right. Now, so okay, we started not even started off because you even have some um black singers going back baby 100 years, or even comedians 100 years. And this is why me and I've heard other people say, who have certain platforms over the years, right? Over the years of social media being in existence, say we have been fucked into submission because even way back then, we're singing about all underneath our clothes. We're singing about just fucking and being fucked. I'm talking about music going back, baby. We didn't start this. We didn't start this. You got comedians like Moms Mabley, raunchy, going back, baby. This ain't new, but we've been fucked into submission. So that we've now that we've been fucked so much, we've become nymphomaniac, um, sadistic, and you need to know what sadism is. It has nothing to do with the devil. Sadism. That is someone who likes to inflict pain. And masochist, we've become masochist. That is someone who likes to receive pain. So we've become a bunch of nympho sadist masochist. We just want to fuck, and we like to watch. We like to watch people being harmed, being hurt. We like to hurt people. And these are all things that was done to us. All things that were done to us. These aren't innate traits that are just in us. No, it's not innate. It's not just natural to us. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. But it was done to us for so long and so repetitively that now we've been fucked into submission. I saw a short, um, a group of blacks. It was a podcast, and the black girl was asked, "Would you rather have? Do you prefer um, men with money or broke men?" And she said, "I like broke niggas because they fuck you better." There you go. There you go. There you go. Why would any woman have five baby daddies if it isn't a level of nympho? If it isn't a level of nympho, not five children. That's not what I'm saying. But you have children by five different men. Why? Why? That's some nympho shit. Like you just need to be fucked. But again, we need to take accountability for it, but it's all was done to us. And now we like it. Now we love it. So is that black culture? People laughing at black people making jokes at us about us not having dads. That's that's not embarrassing and insulting for us? No, because we don't care. What is black culture? Because is black culture not having a dad? Is black culture saying that black men are just deadbeats? Because I know that all black men are not deadbeats. I know that the majority of black men are not deadbeats. Not even the majority. So, what is black culture and how can we define it? Like, as black Americans, what do we even agree on? What do we even agree on a large scale? What do we agree on? I don't even know what we agree on as black Americans on a large scale. Like I say, watching people unite, pool their money, watching them build, w- being around people during the time I was married, being around those Gambians, and during my marriage, watch them go from working to now opening up their own stores, their own shops, watching them pool their money, watching them have their Gambian Association calls, one phone call, one text. Everybody gets a text message and they have to go to their meeting now. The unity, the level of unity and cooperation for them to build. When they would have a party, a naming ceremony, a wedding, anything, right? Watching all the different women in their homes cook to bring to this party. If you've ever been to an African party, there are massive amounts of food, massive, all home cooked. Ain't no store bought, all home cooked because all the different ladies in their different households make a dish or two or three and bring it. That was my first time ever in real life seeing them make it rain. That's just a part of their culture. That's what they do in Africa. That's what they do here. If it's a wedding, the ladies, they have their clutch purses full of bills, full of bills. When they go out there and dance, they just shower, baby, shower. Nobody stealing, nobody trying to steal the money. They're just showering the bride or the couple. I was like, this is make it rain. This is make it every single one I went to. And you eat to your fill when you're there. And when you leave, baby, you taking 4 and 5 plates of, the to-go styrofoam containers. You're taking 4 or 5 of them home because it's just too much food. And it's not a little party of, maybe 20 people. No, no, these are massive parties. These are massive parties, and these are the same Africans that we like to talk shit about over here on the North American continent, where they came as adults. As adults, they came here, and within 10 years, they own they own shit. The Somali Mall in Minneapolis on Lake Street. There's a whole strip mall, and it's in the area where I grew up in. 1986, 87, 88. None of that shit was there. Now the whole area, it's just a Somali mall full of little shops, all owned by Somalian proprietors. In Northeast Minneapolis, there's a Somali market, a halal market. And not only are they owned, but they're all employed by their own people. There's no Americans working there, black or white. It's all their own people working there. Things like this doesn't happen with individuals. It happens with unity, working together. And it happens because these people do have a culture that goes back centuries, centuries. They have tribes, tribal rituals, tribal standards. What do we have? We completely reject Kwanzaa. Again, I would love for y'all to really look up the seven principles of Kwanzaa and tell me what is so bad about that we should not, as Black Americans, all have been celebrating that every year since 1995 when it was created. And maybe then we wouldn't have these fucking Sukianas and all the rest of them, all the rest of them, males and females, all the rest of them. We wouldn't just be rapping about killing one another. We wouldn't just be rapping about doing lean and perk. Is that Black culture? Being drugged out for all your life that you don't even know what's happening, your whole life just passing you by because you drugged up. You got grown ass Future's grown dumbass with all his babies that he got out there that he ain't fucking with, still grown as hell, talking about popping perks and doing lean and popping and this is what we want to ride to. How old is this grown ass man? I gotta know because it's just so stupid to me. How old is this grown ass man? How old is Future, the rapper? 40 years old. You got a 40-year-old man talking about popping perks, doing lean. That's not ridiculous. But that's Black culture though, right? We talk about the music, right? The music. That's Black culture. That's what we want to be proud of. Our 40-year-old men singing about detrimental or young women talking about my pink, my booty hole brown. This is what we talking about. And like Charleston White said to Cam, don't come talking to me about my delivery. Don't talk to me about my delivery when this is the type of music that Black people listen to. Don't talk to me about my delivery when these are the lyrics that we jam into. Don't talk to me about my delivery. It couldn't be the delivery. We're bopping to 40-year-old men talking about popping perks. And is this what we're saying is Black culture? I mean, I'm genuinely out of the loop because I've been Black my whole life. And I've been born in this country six generations that I can recall. And I don't know what Black culture is. I don't know. I'm Black and I don't know what Black culture is. In high school, they used to call me Shalonda X. I'm that Black girl. I'm Black. I'm pro Black and I'm Black. And that's why I've always, since my teen years, and I stand on my own on this. It's not like my homies ever agreed with me. No one has ever agreed with me when I be having my pro Black conversations. No one agrees. None of my Black friends agree, in the moment because we're so emotional. We're so emotional and we always feel so attacked and get so defensive instead of really thinking. Everybody I know was raised by a single mama, and all them and their siblings, unless they're twins, got different daddies. Is this what we really want to uphold as Black culture? Is this really what we want to uphold as black culture? What is black culture? Because it made sense to me in 1995 why it was put out that Kwanzaa is the celebration for Black Americans because we don't have a culture. So this was to give us culture. And what is the Black American sound? We talk about music. What is the Black American sound? Right? South Africa has a sound, a specific sound. West Africa has a specific sound. East Africa has a sound. What is the sound of Black American culture? What is our sound? That when the world hears it, like there's a certain type of drum when I hear it, I'm like, this sounds like West African music because I know, right? Like I used to have West African music CDs, like uh, even North African. So what is the Black American sound? What is our sound? We mention things on such a shallow level. We got to go deep. We got to go deeper to define what is Black culture. And if we're going to define it with anything, then my next question is how come we're not passing it down to our children? Because culture is something to be proud of and that you pass on. What have we passed on? What have we passed on to our children? And again, maybe y'all did, but I didn't have any type of rites of passage. My brothers didn't. What is Black culture? I think that's probably the most positive question we could ever lean into. What is Black culture? And why do we just ignore and denounce Kwanzaa? It's not a religion. Has nothing to do with religion. And why are we so focused on European made religions? Why are we so gung ho on that? If not because we've been fucked into submission. If that's not the reason, then why are we holding on to man-made religions that are doing things that very clearly spelled out goes against what God told us not to do in scripture? So what is Black culture? And how come we're not teaching our children? And how come we weren't taught? How come we weren't taught? How come our parents weren't taught? Whatever Black culture is, how come it wasn't taught to us? I think it's a valid question. We want to argue about it, but we don't want to come up with any actual answers. No one has ever actually answered that question. And yeah, I've look, baby, I'm Team Gen X. I'm a Gen Xer. My skin is so goddamn thick. I've never had anybody take my side on that point, but that's not why I have my perspectives. I don't care nothing about that. I've been an avid reader my entire life. So I don't care about what someone who isn't very well versed in many things has to say about me or my opinion or my perspective. The fentanyl ingredients comes from China. Maybe it's a Chinese culture. Stop it. Black Americans made American music. That's my take. What is American music? Black Americans agreed that Biden is a good president. No lies. No lies. No lies at all. What is American music? What is American music? I don't have any friends. I know plenty of white people. I have these conversations around them too. I don't bite my tongue or hold back for anybody. I had a white girlfriend who I've known her for several years, and I'll tell you exactly when she unfriended me off Facebook. She ended up coming back around a few years later on Instagram when I was in the Mercedes Mansion. So we were this was in Minnesota, and she's white. She's white. Kels Kelly, and that was my girl. That was my girl. Here's the type of white people I like. I like white people that they're just white. They don't try and change their accent to talk with a bit more jazz in their voice. She was just a white girl, right? And I fucked with that. I like that. Just be you. Just be you. Like Wayne told Drake, just be you. Don't try and none of that. She didn't dress a certain type of way. She was just Kelly from Wisconsin with two white parents and a hella racist dad. That ain't just my opinion. That is a fact, and we'll get to that. So we and and she date black guys. So it was a period in time she's going around, oh, I want brown babies. I want brown babies. And I'm just like, Kels, I want brown babies. I want brown babies. Like we're just some type of novelty. So anyway, years pass. So by this time, about 5 years pass, and we're the same age. So at this time, we were 35. We're 35. She come tell me she's pregnant. She get with this black dude, a black dude who's from a two-parent household. His two black parents were married, were still married, but he decides he wants to be a deadbeat all his life. He had aspirations of being a deadbeat. He had 5 children by 5 different women, and none of them he was taking care of. So Kelly decides this is who she wants to procreate with. So when she calls me and she telling me the whole situation, I said, Kels, you wait until you're 30. And I said this to her. I said, Kels, you waited until you were 35 to be a baby mama with a deadbeat who was a deadbeat when you met him. This is the decision you made. So anyway, that goes on, and she just, and then so the Philando Castile thing started happening because again we were in Minneapolis, so they just knocking off black folks, and then Philando Castile happened, and I was about a mile away from where he was in St. Paul at the time, and so what got me, one of my cousins is also married to a white woman. One of my maternal cousins. He's married to a white woman. They have 2 daughters. So what really was getting me was all the white folks I know with black kids, have black kids, they were hush. Like they were all hush. None of them had anything to say. None of them had any input. So of course I made my perspective known because these are all Philando Castile took his last breath on Facebook Live. So you want to say you don't speak publicly on these matters or socially or whatever the hell, but they're happening on social media. They're happening in real life, but they're on social media being shared and posted. But you're quiet about it and you got black kids. And she now is on her second son by some other dude who's also not in the picture anymore. So you got 2 black boys, 2 mixed kids, and going back to Kels, her first son, her dad didn't want any involvement with her son because he was black. He ended up coming around. But her dad didn't want no parts of that black boy. No parts of that black boy. And you heard me say we're age mates. So she's 49 right now. So, you know, uh, that's how that went down. But I know white people. I know white people. And they know where I stand. Even when I got here to Cali, I was in a co-living house, and one of the guys, he's probably about 8 to 10 years older than me. He's white, Jeff. And so Jeff is from Wisconsin. So because I'm not from there, but I lived in Minneapolis in Minnesota, he kind of took to me on that front. And then I'm cool as hell. I have unpopular opinions, yes, but I'm cool as a fan. You hear me? I'm very, very cool. And I get along with everybody. And even expressing my opinion, even in Minnesota, to white guys, because it's so factual, they don't get as offensive as black people do. So I don't hold back or from having these discussions with anybody. But talking with Jeff, I was saying how when I grew up in Minnesota, on the news, like they had no problem talking about the abundance of white men who killed their wives. So me even looking up the statistics, white folks, anytime they tried to pull that black on black crime on me, I'm like, baby, white crime is at 86%. Stop playing. Stop playing. The highest killer, the demographic who kills police officers the most are white men. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. You pull that black on black crime to the black folks who don't know. I know white on white crime is right there. Stop playing with me. And growing up in Minnesota, seeing that, I know for a fact. They used to talk about it on the news. This man just killed his wife. And so I was talking about that with Jeff, and Jeff was like, yeah. And then he told me about how in Wisconsin, Mr. Whoever walking down the street with the shotgun went to the church, boom, his wife right there, and then walked back home with the shotgun. Like, yeah, I know. I know. You can't put that up. You can't hit me with none of that. I'm too knowledgeable and I'm too well versed on what goes on here. I'm not in the dark. And I used to say as a teenager, it was a big saying going around when I was a teenager. You want to hide anything from a nigga? Put it in a book. I said, well, that ain't going to work on me because I read the books. I read all the books. That's not going to work on me. That's how I find out so much because I read the books. So, yeah. And it's not a flex. I personally don't think it's a flex to have white friends. I mean, I don't know what the relevance was with that, but that's not a flex. That's not a flex. I think it's more of a flex to say no. It's not a flex. I got white friends. And I've never been able to say some of my best friends are white. No, they're not. There's no way I would ever trust a white, the cool. I would never trust the coolest white person over anybody black. I don't think it's a flex. So, whatever you wanted to gauge me by with that, I don't think it's a flex. For me, let me speak for myself. For me, it's not a flex to say, you know, but I don't have any issues with individual white people. I don't have any issues at all with individual white people. You cool, period, until you're not. You cool with me as long as you cool with me until you're not. But I don't think it's a flex. But that's not even on topic, what is black culture? Because even Kels, she can tell you her lineage, you know what I mean? She can tell you what the lineage of her parents is that make up her. I think that's more important, the fact that we don't know our lineage, you know? All we know is this country, and it's nothing savory. It ain't sweet. It isn't sweet. And then we have to understand psychological trauma. So when we know that in our history there were pregnant women, black American enslaved women that were pregnant, and they would dig a hole in the ground so once her stomach was out, so to put her face down and her stomach in that hole so that they can whip her. When we know we come from a part of history where our families were in front of one another, literally ripped apart, literally children ripped out of their mother's arms, literally. These are acts that embed psychological trauma that goes on decade after decade. Even just the fact that none of us are near 100 years old, but the fact that we know about the burning of Black Wall Street, the Tulsa, Oklahoma. The fact that we know about that has us so afraid. It had our parents, my mother's in her 70s. It had our parents so afraid that this might happen to us. We better not. We better not attempt that again. We better not. We better not attempt anything like that again. And the people who built that were literally coming out of chains, and they had more courage than we do just hearing about it. And they were actually survivors of it. They were survivors of it. We only heard about it. Our parents only heard about it. But it put so much fear in us that we said, no, 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 we're not going to try that again. We're not going to try that again. Nope, we're not going to attempt to unite and build anything on this land that we constructed, on this land that our ancestors literally died on. We're not going to attempt to rebuild what they did. We're not going to attempt anything like that. We dare not, because Lord, I don't want Master to do to me what they did to them, Lord. I don't want to go through that, Lord. Lord, we better not get on Master bad side, Lord. We better not try. You better keep your mouth shut. You keep your black mouth shut. You better not talk bad about Master. Master give us that good chicken back. You better not talk. I'm going to go tell Master on you. You talking bad about Master? I'm going to go tell Master. Man, it wasn't me, Master. It wasn't me. It was that nigga, Master. It wasn't me. It wasn't me, Master. It wasn't me. Master, I would never try to escape, Master. I would never. Master, I wouldn't dream of escaping, Master. If I even dream of escaping, Master, I'm going to wake up and come tell you, Master. And I'm going to bring the whip so you ain't got to go get it, Master. I don't want you to work hard, Master. I don't want you to work hard. Master, don't break no sweat, Master. Your skin too good to break sweat, Master. I'm just a dirty nigga. I do the work for you, Master. I do the work for you. So we want to talk about Black culture. What is Black culture? We want to get offended. We want to get offended. And we want to call everybody racist. What is Black culture? Even the fact that we'd rather uplift Michael Luther King. And look it up. This is true. As I've gotten older and being the reader that I am, it's true. You want to hide something from Black people, just put it in writing. Put it in writing. It is known that his daddy, Michael King, named him after this German ratchet dude, Martin Luther. He named his son, uh, uh, he nicknamed his son after, not even legal. He didn't even legally change his name. His name is Michael. Michael Luther King Jr. His daddy's name was Michael King. And he is Michael King Jr. Martin Luther is a white German dude from what, the 1800s, the early 1900s, that his daddy was infatuated with. So we'd rather uphold MLK. I just call him MLK because those are his initials. We'd rather uphold him selling us to the wolves than Malcolm X telling us to stand up for our goddamn selves. Stand up for yourself. You have the human God-given right to stand up for yourself. But here's MLK, bow down and tiptoe. And then they don't blast his speech when at the end of his life, he realized, I sold my people to the goddamn wolves. They don't blast that speech. They don't blast that speech of him recognizing his fuck ups. They don't blast pictures and images of him sitting as a young boy in Confederate meetings, sitting right there front row in Confederate meetings. They don't show any of that. You got to do research to find out this information. But we want to talk about MLK. Like I said, they called me Shalonda X freshman year in high school, baby, because I've never been on the MLK. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. My auntie said if somebody hit you, you hit their ass back. If you come in here talking about somebody hit you and you ain't do nothing, I'm going to take you out there, make you fight them, and I'm going to whoop your ass. Don't just be letting nobody hit on you. If somebody hit you, you hit them back. But you keep your hands to yourself. You don't start no trouble. You don't start shit. But if somebody put their hands on you, you better do your best to break their goddamn neck. And that's, I guess, how I ended up being a brawler, baby, because I'm the Gen X, so you talk shit, get hit. But I couldn't get with MLK because you're not gonna tell me to allow them to sick them dogs on me and these water hoses on me, and you not, I'm not going along with that program. I'm not going along with that program. And you have black men right now today in 2024 that are against owning guns. How in the hell are you going to protect your family and you don't have a gun when they out here, they got their kids at the gun range at 3, 4, 5 years old? Anytime I hear a black man, a black American man saying he's against guns, I'm immediately turned off. Immediately turned off. In America, you are out of your mind. You are out of your mind. Because I know plenty of white men who, like I said, they teach their son damn near straight out the womb about guns. Daughters too. They stay ready. And here we are. Well, nigga, turn the other cheek. Turn the other cheek. Ass cheek too. Let them go on hand them the Vaseline and bend over. Because that's clearly what you like. Go on, get the Vaseline again so Massa ain't got to go get it. You got it ready for him and bend over and spread your cheeks wide open and just let them go in. What is black culture? I know that's right. I know that's right. Got to. Right. We had our own businesses. Malcolm was about building for us. Exactly. 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 But the truth of the matter is, when he was alive, baby, they talked bad about him. They talked bad about him. The black community spoke very ill. This is the truth of the matter. The black community, when he was alive, when he was living, spoke very ill about him. Spoke very ill about him. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But that's not, we want to pander. But this isn't new either. This isn't new. Let's go back to scripture. The Hebrews, right? The Hebrews, our old ancestors. They're the reason Moses wasn't able to cross over, because they just at every turn, they just cried and whined to just let them go back to the Egyptians. Let them just go back and be slaves. God brought us out here to die. Oh, woe is me. We at least when we were slaves for for the Egyptians, at least yada yada yada. This ain't new. This ain't new. This ain't new. This is not new, you know. But at some point, we got to stand up and unite. At some point, we have to unite. We can't keep blaming and pointing fingers at everybody that come to our country and do this and do that. Well, we've been here for decades. We've been here, I mean, for centuries. We've been here for centuries. And what our great ancestors built up, we haven't even rebuilt. We haven't even rebuilt. And let's look at the timeline. When was Juneteenth? What year? 1865? Was that 1865? And when was the burning of Black Wall Street? 1920? Do the math. From 1865 to 1920. That was less than 70 years. They had amassed that much wealth in less than 70 years. And it's been 100 years since then. And how much less do we have in ownership and in unity? And they're the ones that experienced it. They're the ones that experienced it. I mean, imagine being born into slavery. I'm talking about physical slavery. We can talk and whine and cry about systemic slavery all we want. Yeah, 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 yeah. But imagine being born into physical enslavement. Imagine being born and you're snatched away from your mom out the womb, out of the womb, out of the womb. Imagine being a young black man and watching them just come and snatch and take your wife. Imagine that being your actual physical reality of what you've experienced. And then after that, when you get word that you're free, you unite with all the black people you can and build up businesses, law offices. You buy hundreds of acres of land. And this is what you've experienced in your life. So now you get a new wife because now y'all are free. So now you're free to marry and this and that. And you have these businesses and you have these practices. You had everything but excuses. But you had all the excuses. Like you could have said, oh, this and oh, they took my wife and I was born a slave and oh, everything's just to get oh, the cards I was dealt. We love that one. Oh, it's the way the cookie crumble. They got busy. They got busy with much less resources, and having to sneak. They had to sneak in a lot of cases, had to have secret meetings. You know what kind of unity you got to have a secret meeting and actually pull it off to build up that much wealth and that much ownership in that short of time? I mean, am I the only one that find that impressive? And am I the only one that's disgusted that for even the 40 years, let me say 38 years of my life, we'll just say 30 years of my life that I've attempted to work with relatives, to build something with relatives, to create partnerships with relatives that are just scared slaves, scared to quit their W-2 working for a motherfucker they don't even know, scared to put in blood and sweat and effort into something that they're just hell bent on. I'm going to make it work. I'm going to make it work. And I'm going to work with my family right here to make it work so that my kids don't have to go out there and work for people that hate them and talking about, oh, your hair, you can't come to work with your hair like that and this, that, and the third. We were all born on easy street compared to what they were born to. We were all born on easy street. What is black culture? Complaining and whining and bitching and moaning that we need reparations. What do we need reparations for? They weren't talking about reparations. They got busy. Oh, I'm free. I'm free. I'm free. They got busy. 1865 to 1920. The middle of 1865 at that to 1920. Do the math. Do the math. And even if you just think about it, and when we look at documentation of how much wealth and ownership they had built, you know it pissed them European Americans off. Even in the 1940s, there was a black man in the 1940s that they murdered and stole his 237 acres of land. In the 19 My mother was born in 1948. Even in the 1940s, that's what I'm saying. Just we have become pussies. We are just yasm, 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 and we ain't even been through nothing. Ain't that what ain't that what Kendrick told Drake? I try to empathize with you, but I know you ain't been through nothing. We haven't been through anything. We haven't been through anything to have the discord that we have within the black community. We haven't been through it, but we've heard about it. And going back to what I started off saying, psychological trauma. We are affected by the psychological trauma. Just knowing that people that look like us went through that, we dare not attempt it. Just knowing. And we're not even dealing with the same type of white folks. Even the white folks now are pussies. Even that. And I've said that to plenty white folks. I'm like, that's why they only try and pick us off one by one. Y'all ever peep that? It's just one by one. It's just one by one. Even so, we have the advantage. We have the full advantage right now, but we are pussies and we have so much discord. Even if we're not pussies, we don't have it in us to work together. Just like the last reel that I did using a sound. This was from Godfrey being on Club Shay Shay. And he was telling the story about this big drug dude that he know in California, in New York. And he was saying he went to have a meeting with the triads over in Asia. I think he said Japan. And he said their level of unity scared me. They were so organized, so organized. And the dude told him, you black people, y'all have the dress and the music, and you're so stylish and fashionable and innovative, and everybody jealous of you. He said, but the one thing you don't have is unity. And he said it's so easy to take you out. And that's not a lie. That is not a lie. What Biggie say? Your mom's a set that ass up properly gassed up. That's what Biggie said in the 10 crack commandments. That's not a lie. That's not a lie. That is not a lie. It may be a lie for individual groups, but on the whole, I mean, raise your hand if your mama ever put your name on a utility bill when you was under 18. I mean, let's just keep it 1,000. We need to just keep it 1,000. But the best thing we can do is unite and really. I still, again, I know completely why he created um Kwanzaa, because once again, if we look at the 7 principles of Kwanzaa, that is the foundation of unity and building and celebrating being proud to be Black American. It's not a religion. It has nothing to do with Africa. That is strictly for us to define our culture, actual culture. To say, okay, if you go outside, no, no, no. Nope, that's not our culture right there. This is our culture right here. What you doing is animalistic. See, you following after them European Americans. That's not what we do. This right here is what we do. This is what we do. You want to go get a job? You go talk to Mr. Johnson. You gonna work for somebody that look like you. You're not gonna work for them Europeans. Just everything and everything. And like I said about the Gambians, when they all work together. They all work together. And until you see it for yourself, you won't know how beautiful it is. Until you see all the different women. And I'm talking about they married and they got kids. But it's an event happening. And they know this woman cannot cook all the food by herself. And in certain cases, the woman doesn't cook any food. Like if it's the wife or if she's the one that just had the baby, don't, or if it's a wedding, though she don't cook any food. It's the entire community that cook everything. And when I tell you, it is a ton of food, and they party all night, and you're taking home multiple cartons of food, and there's still food left. And then they start sending different, people who maybe helped with the event. You take the rest of this pan. You take these pans. Like, until you've seen that, I don't even think we really know what unity looks like. Tuned in to learn. Right on, Christina. God bless America, each and every one of us. And you got to know in scripture, God cursed plenty of countries. You got to know that. You got to know we got to read the word from Genesis to Revelations. And like God talked about knowledge and wisdom, get understanding. With all thy getting, get understanding. God spoke so much about what he hate, and what he hate we should hate. What he denounced we should denounce. God told folks to leave a country and to pull their pants down, to leave with your buttocks out, to show my disgust for this land. We got to know that. This is in scripture. But we only want to read what will appeal to us. But like God said in scripture, if you want your reward to come from man, that is your reward. Don't expect no reward from me. If you want your reward to come from man, then that's your reward. That's the end of it. This is all in scripture. This is all in scripture. We want to, this is all in scripture. But people, and then want to say, oh, the and the new, but it's all one book. It's all one book. It's all one book. The Old Testament is where the law was laid out. The New Testament is where the law is played out. Where you seeing it now. Where you seeing it. You seeing it. You're seeing the repercussions of all the disobedience. You're seeing now the consequences folks went through from all their blasphemy, from all their betrayal. Honey. So I don't know. I don't know if God's going to bless America or not. It doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like it. There's so much blood of his people in this land, on this land. I don't know. I don't know. God knows best is what I always say. God knows best. I can't do God's work. I'm here to do my work. Can't nobody, I know in the religious sects, they like to say, I'm doing God's work. You're not equipped to do God's work. God don't need you to do your work. That's like well, I can't equate it to that because we as human beings, we want people to do our work, but we can't do God's work. I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater than I. Ain't that what Jesus said? I and my Father are one, because God told us that he is within us, not on the side of us. God said, you are gods, but you will die like men. We are going to experience the full cycle of this magnificence. So we're going to, that we being put in the flesh is God conquering death, right? So I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater than I. So I don't know if he's going to bless America. It, like I said, it doesn't seem like a blessed land to me. This land does not seem blessed to me. It feels cursed. It seems cursed. So I don't know. I don't know. But God bless. God bless. God bless those that have ears to hear, let them hear. God bless those that have eyes to see, let them see. That's what I can say. God bless those. Because God even said in scripture, I created the wicked for the day of evil. I created everything. Everything. The devil can't create anything. I created the devil. I created wicked for the day of evil. Everything has its day, and everything is good. Like God said after he created it. I saw it, I created it, and it was good. So God knows best. God knows why he created evil. God knows why he created wicked. I don't need to question it. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. And that blessing is what needs to unite us. But this is but again, this, like Cat Williams started it off, this the year of the truth. And this is just these last 4 years, they're not different. They're not different. This decade, and this isn't even the end. We still have 6 years left in this decade. It started off, 2020 kicked it off, and let's just think about that. 2020, 2020, 2 and 2, 4, the number four, like just the power of numbers and the messages. Like God say, you got to pay attention to the signs that I send you and the messages that I send you. So this all started in 2020, and if you notice all the shifts each decade, so we still got 6 years, right? But I say focus on getting your get right now, because uh it's still, we're not at the halfway mark yet. We're not at the halfway mark yet. Expect the unexpected always. But this is not any separation from what started this whole decade in 2020. Not at all. Not at all. But yes, a lot of wicked people are being shut down right now, and have been. Trump going through Trump going through his things, he on trial. He got a lot going on right now. Like it's a lot of wicked people that are in the fire right now. And it all started 2020. We got to have casualties of war. It's a part of war. It's a part of war. So we need to get some get right, but the tides are shifting. There is a huge shift happening right now. It's not anything to be afraid into freeze mode. If anything, it should move people into action. It needs to move people into action. If you have families that you got any type of bond with, do your best to persuade them to unite and start pooling your money. Do your best. Everything in the dark comes to the light. That's right. That's right. And there's a time for everything. But this is the time to really put together your game plan, because, and then just make sure you send it up to God, because as above, so below. So you build what you need to build with God, and then you start taking action on this earth. And it's already done. It's already done, because I absolutely agree. That's right. I mean, what else are we going to do? But again, this is a corporation. This is what we need to know, especially as Black Americans. European white Americans know this, but as Black Americans, we need to know. First of all, the United States is operating under a DBA. If you don't know what DBA stands for, it's doing business as. The United States is an incorporated business. This is all, you can look this up. You should be very familiar with your Bill of Rights, which is, what is the Bill of Rights? It's a section of the Constitution. All this stuff you should know. You should know already that this quote unquote country, this land that the United States of America is built on, and the United States of America Inc. is a business, and it's all for sale. It is all for sale. All of it is up for sale. And what other countries on other continents recognize, going back to that, why they come here and build up, right? Not to mention the benefit of the currency conversion, the huge benefit of the currency conversion, the benefit to them. So you take 4,000 US dollars, that's that's the equivalent to like 5 million naira in Nigerian money. 4,000 or something US dollars is in the millions in naira. So eh, it's not a benefit to people to come from other countries here. Hell yeah, it's a benefit. And then they prove their savvy. They prove their smarts and their wits by coming here, establishing businesses, coming here, doing business, getting their money, sending it back. I mean, all kind of. You can take it to any country you want, but because this is a capitalist country, which I don't think is bad at all. I don't think capitalism is bad at all. We all participate in capitalism. Just look at the clothes you have on. Look at everything. Everything. The fact that you're not sitting outside naked proves that you participate in capitalism. You just may be on the wrong end of it. And any black American who doesn't like capitalism, they're definitely on the wrong end of it. But this entire incorporated country is for sale, honey. And this is why business owners, who anybody can be a business owner, everybody on this live can be a business owner. It's not about whatever color your skin is, it's not about none of that. And like I said, our great ancestors jumped through way more goddamn hoops than we have to. And they didn't whine and bitch and moan about yada yada yada, whatever excuses we want to make. This country is for sale. This country is for sale. So people who employ other people, of course, they're going to get the biggest tax benefits, the biggest tax write off, the biggest tax breaks because they're not a liability. They're an asset. W 2 employees are liabilities. They're liabilities. Somebody else got to figure this out for you. Somebody else got to cover your insurance or not. That's why a lot of companies are choosing not to. That's why they all saw the advantage in working from home. Oh, now I don't have to have all these goddamn dependents on my insurance. Oh, workers' comp. All these things that the companies have to pay for. Yes, they deserve the biggest write offs. They deserve the biggest tax breaks because they got a bunch of dependents that they are responsible for. It makes sense. It makes sense why daddy get the big piece of chicken. He working 16 hours a day. Come on now. Come on now. And we're not going to play semantics. Oh, being a stay-at-home mom is a job. Yeah, but you at home. You're at home. You are at home. And you're not dodging big steel or in the mine and coming home with dust and dirt or working down in the sea. You're at home. If you want to lay them kids down for a nap and take a nap with them, you can do that. He's outside of the home doing some hard labor shit, calloused hands and feet and dirty and funky and all kind of shit to make sure that you can stay home, to make sure that you and his kids got food at home. But that don't account for nothing these days. That don't account for shit. So yeah, daddy get the big piece of chicken. And it's an old joke Chris Rock used to have. Yes, daddy deserved a big piece of chicken. Yes, businesses deserve the biggest tax breaks. They're employing people. They're creating a more economy. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Employees are a liability. You don't get no tax breaks. You don't get no tax write-offs. You're a liability to the whole system, to the entire system. You're a liability. But you know what? You can start a business and you can if can you give people jobs? Can you start a little business and hire two or three people? Hmm. You know what? You can take advantage of these tax breaks. Oh, you don't want to work that hard? Oh, you don't want to think that hard? Oh, okay. Well, here you go. Here you go. We're going to overtax you. We're going to tax you on dollars that we already taxed you on. We're going to tax you on those tax dollars on the tax items that you're buying. We're going to rip you off. But because we know that you have this poor mindset, we're going to give you back some of this money that we stole from you in the first place. Because all you're going to do is give it right back to us. You're going to give it right back to us with that car note, with going shopping. You're just going to give it right back to us. So, yeah, we can give you these few thousand at the end of the year because it's coming right back anyway. And what you spend, guess what? We're taxing you on it. We're taxing you on it. Any little thing you go buy, we're taxing you on it. You have no right to complain. You're a dependent. You're a dependent. Come on now. Stop playing. Stop playing. Go argue with your kids about this my room or this my house. Okay, well, look, how long you gonna argue with your kids and you're paying all the bills? You're the one going to work. You're the one keeping everything on. You're the one keeping the lights on. You're the one keeping all the bills paid. When your kids need money, they come to you and they get the money from you. It's the same exact situation. It's the same exact situation. You're dependent. This country is a business. It is literally incorporated and it's DBA. It's doing business as the United States of America. It is the United States of America Inc. doing business as the United States of America. And it's run by foreigners. It's run by foreigners. Of course, it's a business. This country is run by foreigners. Nigeria is run by Nigerians. North Korea is run by North Koreans. South Korea run by South Koreans. Russia is run by Russians. Germany is ran by Germans. We can go on and on. The United States of America Inc. is run by foreigners, Europeans. It's comical. It's pure comedy. It is pure comedy. So it's business. It's business. And capitalism is a hell of a lot better than socialism, in my little opinion, because we can all benefit and gain from capitalism if we just get some get right about ourselves. If we just get some get right about ourselves, nobody's going to stop because at the end of the day, it's capitalism. It's capitalism. So, baby, don't nobody care that you black, high yellow, chocolate, as black as this. Don't nobody care. Oh, you want to start a business? Oh, you it's profitable. Oh yeah, we got your back. Yeah, yeah, because you're helping. You're now becoming a part of the system, and it's on you to use your integrity to say, okay, this is how I'm going to structure my business, my company. This is how I'm going to treat my two or three employees. This is how I'm because I don't like how I was treated as an employee. But now this is my boat. This is my ship. I'm the captain of this ship because that's one thing the government doesn't do and cannot do. Tell you how to run your business, tell you how to treat your employees, tell you what your the culture of your company is going to be. That's all on you, the founder. All on the founder. You know what type of morale is going to be running through the company. That's all on you. You know what I mean? So we have the access. We have the access. And that's what I mean, even going back to the question of what is black culture. We're not known for unity. At one point we were, but we're not during our lifetimes. Not I'm 49, not during our lifetimes. We haven't been. Plus 100 years ago, but not now. But even still, I wouldn't yeah, yeah, I more known for uniting. They had to uh even be more conniving themselves to break us up. They had to be more vindictive to break us up. Now, it's nothing. You ain't even got to offer a nigga nothing. You ain't even got, all you got to do is look like you want to ask a nigga for to tell on somebody else and he whistling Dixie. Whistling Dixie. No problem. Willing to throw a nigga under the bus. Willing. We don't even protect our children. The uncles, the daddies, they know the niece or the daughter has been raped or molested. We don't even protect our children. The black men within the family don't even protect the girl's virginity in the family. What's you know how many cultures I've heard say, if a girl is raped in there, the whole community is going to kill that person. They're going to find that person and they are going to kill that person. And this is known. This is known. This is known. But in our community, it's all, and what we know and what we can agree on is knowing, just like Precious. We know that has been our real life. We know that. We know that. We know that. We know that that has been a lot of Black American households. That's why the movie did so well, and that's why so many of us could relate, because we know, we know, we know. Even grandmama gonna tell everybody to keep the secret. Everybody gonna keep the secret. Everybody gonna keep the secret. And that goes back to what I said a while ago. We have been fucked into submission. And that submission even is being subservient to people that we're not even inferior to. But we've been fucked into submission. So everybody's gonna say, keep this secret. Everybody's just gonna say, keep her away from Uncle Joe because we know how Uncle Joe is. Oh, right. And we just gonna accept it. We're just gonna accept the fact that Uncle Joe like touching on his nieces. Come sit on your lap so he can finger you. We just gonna accept that? Yes, we are. Yes, we are going to accept it because why? That's Black culture, right? Is that Black culture? Is that Black culture? Knowing that we all know, either have been a victim of or know someone, male or female, in the Black home who has been a victim of molestation or rape. We all know it. There's one in every family. Every single family. Somewhere along the line, there's one in every single family in the Black American community. We know that. We know that. And the fact that we know it and we know who it is and we know what's going on, we've been fucked into submission. So everybody's just like, we more afraid of Uncle Joe, uh, not talking to us than just knocking Uncle Joe off. We just not gonna take Uncle Joe out and then say fuck his funeral. We just, you know, bury the nigga in the backyard. We not gonna do that though. No, we're not. We're just gonna tell the girls to just stay away from Uncle Joe. We just gonna invite Uncle Joe to all, the events where Uncle Joe stay with grandmama. So of course we gonna have all the events at grandmama house where Uncle Joe is, and leave it at that. Leave it at that. Just stay away. Uncle Joe's brothers don't kick his ass. Nobody does anything. Nobody does anything. The girls grow up knowing that they're unprotected. Black girls grow up and to be Black women in this country that know we're not protected. We know that we're not protected. And we learn this as little girls. We learn this as little girls that we're not protected at all. Nothing about our parts are private. They're open to whoever want them. Whoever want them, they can get it. No matter how much we fight, kick, and scream. And then we get blamed for not speaking out, for not telling. Terrified, not telling. But then at the same time, we have certain relatives that'll say they saw something in this and that, but you want to cuss me out because I didn't tell or didn't tell sooner or something. We know. So is this what we're calling Black culture? Is this what we're going to call Black culture right here? The fact that we know Uncle Pete is a goddamn pervert and done touched every girl child in the family and that cute boy child too, and nobody protected him. Everybody just kept him alive. He just died from cirrhosis of the liver or cancer or some shit. Like he just got to live his life out being a piece of shit, and that was just it. Is that Black culture? but we look good. We play good music. We play good music. We cook tasty food. Uh, that's it. That's it. Nothing of substance, right? Because they've been trying to get, I'm going to say me, because it seems like they got a lot of the black community, but they've been trying to get me to hate Candace Owens for since she's been around. And I just don't understand what does she say wrong? What does she say wrong against the black community? What does she say wrong? It's wrong for us to hold one another to a higher standard as black people. That's wrong. That's cancel worthy. But then again, it was the people that demanded that Jesus be crucified. It was the people, the people, the people that he walked with, the people that he healed and helped and served. Those were the very people that demanded Pontius Pilate. What did he said? I wash my hands clean because this is not a guilty man to me. But y'all have demanded. What is he guilty of? They never answered. Kill him. Kill. They never actually answered. Read scripture. They never said what he was guilty of. They just said, hang him. Hang him with the thieves and the murderers. Hang him. And Pontius Pilate washed his hand clean because he said, this is an innocent man. This man hasn't done anything. But y'all have spoken. The jury has spoken. So, I have, the jury has spoken, but I'm washing my hands clean under the eyes of God right here, right now. I have no parts in this. So, we can't expect anything different because we already see what it's going to be. We already know what it's going to be. So, of course, of course, they want me to hate Candace Owens, but I don't. I don't. I've yet to hear anything that she says that I disagree with. Anything, anything. Pick and choose whatever you want. I've yet to hear anything that she says that I disagree with for the black community, for black American people. What does she say wrong? What does she say wrong? But again, the people could never answer Pontius Pilate either. The people couldn't answer him either. They just kill him, hang him, hang him, hang him. There you go. There you go. So, not any different. Fast forward 2024, we got the same agenda. Same agenda. Because we should all be rallying behind every black person on a public platform who is saying, we need to do better. We need to carry ourselves better. We need to uplift and uphold one another. We need to denounce this ratchet shit, this wicked shit from amongst us because that's what God told us to do instead of trying to counsel her. But again, the people demanded that Jesus be hung. And guess what? Jesus was hung because the people said so. So there it is. There it is. I mean, there's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun. So we know what it is. We know everything it is and everything it's going to be. But I tell you this, um, I hope they bury Diddy as. I hope they bury him. Um, I hope Drake's career is over. I will say that. I hope his career is over. Um, I know the young girl still ain't gonna stop messing with him, but I hope we don't get any more. I hope his career is over. I hope he leaves the United States. He is indeed, in factual, a culture vulture. He does not relate to Black Americans at all. He's not American, but he doesn't relate at all. At all. I thought it was going to be over when Pusha T did him in, especially with the picture of him in the blackface and the jazz hands. I thought it was going to be over for him then, but You know, it wasn't. And we know that in Hollywood that they know about all of the grooming and the young girl and the pedophilia. They know about all of that. It's not a secret. It's not a secret within the circle of Hollywood. They know that. That's not a secret at all. But now that it's all really coming in, eyes are open, ears are open, I'm hoping that his ass just gets canceled. Even what was it? Somebody brought out lyrics just last year. Drake talking about calling us some American slaves. Would a black man, whether American or not, would a black man say that? But anybody in touch with Black American culture would 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 he say that and be dead ass like this is a lyric? This is something you say as a jab to us? We just some American slaves, and to say Kendrick always rap like he trying to free the slaves. Our community, American descendants of slavery, was once the most dignified people. Yes, yes, in America, absolutely. We built this, absolutely, absolutely. But what have we done? Like we're trying to get, we're trying to get brownie points for what our people did. It's been 100 years since the burning of Black Wall Street. What have we done since then? And they built that in less than 70 years. We can't we What have we done since then? That's what I already spoke about. Absolutely. You're absolutely correct. I just spoke about that. But what have we done since then except for complain and whine and bitch and moan? We haven't done anything from from my grandmother's generation to now. We haven't rebuilt what was stolen from them. What they built in less than 70 years, 70. They built up all that in less than 70 years. And it's been 100 years since then. And I mean, the proof is in the pudding. And the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So, you know, what have we done? And we have more resources than they had. They were the ones actually coming out of chains, like I've said already. They were the ones actually going through the physical trauma. They were the ones actually in fear of their life, all of them. I already spoke on that. And when they got wind and got word that you are free now, they hit the ground running. They united with whatever black person, black people they could. They got busy. They got busy. They got busy and they created so much wealth. They bought so much land, hundreds of acres. And it's no excuse. It's no excuse to say, oh, it was cheaper to blah 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 blah. No, there's no excuse. We have no excuse for why we have not rebuilt what our ancestors did. There's no excuse as to why we have not. 100 years we haven't. Over 100 years we have not even attempted. That's why I said about the psychological trauma. We are affected by psychological trauma and we are deathly afraid to even attempt what they did. We are deathly afraid to recreate and rebuild and avenge their murders. That's one thing I used to like about the Chinese and the Japanese. I grew up. I used to watch the kung fu movies, and I had them on VHS and DVD. And even if one of their senseis got murdered by the real op, they made it their business to avenge their death, and they're gonna kill the one who killed their sensei. We haven't even avenged our ancestors' murders. We have we have so many excuses as to why we haven't. So many excuses. And they were the ones literally crawling out of chains. Literally. They were the ones who all of it I already said. All of it I already said earlier in the live. I already said they had less resources and they united immediately and they amassed so much wealth and land and businesses that those white folks just couldn't stand it. Couldn't stand it. How dare these niggas? And just because we know about it, just by us knowing about it, put us in check. Just us knowing about it is like, no, we ain't gonna try that again. We are not gonna try that again. And just listen to how we speak. Just listen to how we speak. All we say, anytime I have these conversations, all we rebuttal with is they. Like I said, we are deathly afraid to even attempt what our ancestors rebuilt. Afraid. We are afraid because we're afraid of what could possibly happen. But we're not dealing with the same type of white folks. Just like we've become softer, so has the white folks. We can actually unite and fucking build businesses. But the psychological trauma has been done and we won't even dare attempt. We won't even attempt it. Unite? Nah, nah. We won't even dare try to unite. Not on a large scale, like how you just said, we were known for being dignified. The men and the women carried. I saw a group. It was the East Coast. It was on the short, and it was the East Coast, and they were bumping to "We're not like not like us," and all the women were fat. You had Crip women with tattoos on their face. The men were fat, and I was just like, you can look at pictures from even 80 years ago. We didn't look like that and we didn't carry ourselves like that. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. Disgusting. It's been over 100 years and we don't have nowhere near the ownership of what we had. Nowhere near. Nowhere near. We don't have the unity, anything like that. So what is black culture? What is black culture? Because we can't keep riding the coattails of people who we haven't even avenged. We can't keep trying to ride the coattails of people who we haven't even tried to honor. We haven't even tried to honor them, but we want to ride their coattail. We want to ride their coattail, but we haven't even attempted to recreate what they had and what was stolen from them. But we want to ride their coattail. That's what we used to call dick riding. That's exactly what we used to call dick ride in the early 90s. Dick riding. We want to dick ride our ancestors, but we haven't even attempted to do what they did. But we just want to dick ride. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. We're either gonna do something or just hush up because we can't keep dick riding what they did. Their lives were on the line, literally on the line. So what we gonna do? If you can't understand the dynamics, I can't explain it. Yeah, working to repair our community. We're the ones who broke it. The problem is we don't want to take responsibility. That's the problem. We don't want to take responsibility. We don't want to take responsibility for where we dropped the ball. Accountability is the first step. We need to take accountability for where we dropped the ball. We can't keep uh blaming. We can't keep blaming. I think we all understand the dynamics. It's just some of us accept accountability and some of us take responsibility and some of us don't. The majority of our people don't. We just want to blame and we just want to point fingers and we just want to whine and whine and whine and whine and we just want to act like we're so helpless but we're not. We're cut from the cloth of people who were actually in physical chains that in 60 something years, they went from zero to so much wealth. And we have not even honored them by rebuilding what was stolen from them. We haven't even honored them. How is that not so easy to understand? And we're not dealing with the same type of white folks. We are dealing with much softer white people. We are dealing with much softer white people. We're not dealing with the same levels of white people that our ancestors 200, 300, 400, 5, 6, 700 years ago was dealing with. We're not dealing with them type of white people. We have no excuse for why we have not honored the deaths, the murders of all the people that look like us, that whose blood we walk on every day. We have no excuse for why we have not honored them, for why we have not, on a large scale, like how they did it on a large scale, amassed wealth, amassed land, amassed and rebuilt our own unity. Who's going to do it? We're the ones that broke it apart. So who's going to do it? It starts with accountability. It starts with accountability. It's no different from if your kid want to come in and want to blame everybody for why he chose or she chose to follow the crowd. I don't want to hear about what your friend did. I want to hear about why you did what you did. Why did you do so? How come you didn't yada yada yada? That's like us right now. We want to talk about what happened to people that we never met, right? We want to talk about what happened to our ancestors. Okay, so what are we going to do? What have we done to honor them? What have we done to avenge them? What have we done? What did my mom's generation do? What did my mom's generation do to honor the generation before her that had built up some shit? What did my grandmother do? What did her generation do to honor what was stolen from the generation before them? So now we're alive and it's on us. What have we done? What have we done to honor those who built all of that up in less than 70 years from nothing? They didn't have it any easier. They didn't have it easier than we have it right now. We we talk about systemic racism. They were dealing with motherfuckers that really went upside their head. That they really couldn't even be outside at night. You can be outside at night. Stop playing. Stop playing. You can go outside at night. You can walk into the front of a restaurant. Stop playing. You can walk into a bank. Stop playing. You're not you don't have just whites only signs on bathrooms. You've never experienced, and now we going into the 60s, right? You never experienced being in a pool and they throwing acid in the pool. Maybe your parents did, maybe our parents did. My mother was born in 1948. So this was even in the 60s. In the 60s, they was throwing acid in pools in the black pool. But my generation of Gen Xers, we haven't experienced that. And even still, is that enough? Is that enough to make us not honor and avenge the deaths of our ancestors and what they built and everything that they built? All the hundreds and hundreds of acres of land that they built and had ownership of. We like to talk about, we all know that we built this country. We know that. We all know that. But we can't keep dick riding off of it. What are we going to do? How come we can't unite? How come we can't pool our money together and go and buy a strip mall? Go and buy a 60-unit apartment complex? We know that. We know we built this country. We know that. We walk on the blood of our ancestors every day. We know that. No one is debating that. We know that. What have we done to honor their name? What have we done to get back some of what they got? And it costs more now. That shouldn't be a reason. That should be all the more reason for us to unite stronger and pool our money so that we can get back what is rightfully ours. But we sit back and allow people from other continents to come here and take advantage of the United States of America Inc. doing business as the United States of America. This is a corporation. And we allow people from other countries, other continents, other parts of the world to come here and take advantage of the great capitalism in this country. And all we want to do is whine about how we built the country and dick ride on what our ancestors did. But at the same time, you know how many black Americans I've had say to me, well, somebody got to be an employee. Everybody can't be an owner. Right. That's our mindset now. That's our mindset now. But in 1865, in 18, pause right there. My dad called me in 2020, 6 o'clock in the morning, Pacific time. It was 8 o'clock Central time. He's in St. Louis. He called me and we were talking, and he told me about this documentary that he watched from a guy who I think he was born enslaved. And he said that the guy in the documentary said, I never, I don't think black people would ever work for white folks ever again. And my dad, being the coward that he is, my dad said, well, he didn't know, he didn't know, I don't know, some old coward ass shit. But let's hear that though. My dad said this guy in the documentary who was born enslaved, once he was free, he said, I don't think black folks will ever work for white folks ever again. And when my dad said whatever he said, I said, no, he didn't anticipate us becoming so soft. That's what it is. He didn't anticipate us becoming the pussies that we've become. Because, yeah, why would we ever work for white folks again, knowing what we know? We know what we know. We know what we know. And yet and still, we'll still dress up and go fill out an application at these white owned corporations and put on the dance so we can get hired by these white folks. Instead of pooling our money within our family or within our crew of homies or whatever the case may be, we'd rather attack black people who speak like me because we can do better and we should do better. And what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? We can't keep dick riding. We can't keep dick riding what was done hundreds of years ago. They had the guts, they had the courage, they had the bravery, and they had the esteem. They had the esteem, the desire to own their own shit. We no longer have the desire to own anything. We don't have the desire to own. They had a strong desire after all they had been through and all that had been forced on them and taken away from them. They had like there's nothing greater than ownership. And we say shit like, well, you can't take it with you. Well, you still gonna have to pay taxes. Like we say we have some of the most slave-minded rebuttals. When at the end of the day, we're not against one another. Just because there's one perspective to say, like what I'm saying, how come we have not honored their name and rebuilt what was stolen from them? And then there's the other side, the other blacks that say they that just focus on what the white folks did. Like we're helpless. We're not helpless. We're not helpless little fucking kittens. We are not helpless. We're not just helpless little people that can't do anything for ourselves. We are not helpless. And we're not slaves. At this point, we're slaves. We're slaves here willingly. We don't want to use our mind to think creatively. We don't want to use our minds to think critically. We don't want to team up and partner. We just want to blame. And we want to think we sound so eloquent blaming. When at the end of the day, we have everything it takes, everything it takes. If only we had such a strong desire to own and realize that how everyone else get what they got is by unity and unifying with their own people. There's nothing bad in that. But to sit up for another 2 centuries blaming, woe is me. Oh, the white folks did this and that. Um, Oh, yeah, we just can't overcome what the white folks did to people I never even met. But I heard about it and I read about it and I know all the facts. But I'm not going to do anything because, systemic racism prevents me from doing anything. But the people that I'm talking about, they had their whole families physically ripped apart from them. They had physical, thick ass welts on their flesh. Thick, thick welts on their flesh. And once they got word that they were free, they suited up, they booted up, and they built themselves up. And that's why they say, pick yourself up from your bootstraps. And then we just started whining. We just started whining. But that's exactly what they did. That's exactly what they did. And the white folks from then, they saw that. They saw that these Negroes came out of chains as soon as they all got word that they're all free in 1865. Now you got 1865, 1875, 10 years, 1885, 1895, 30 years, 1905, 1915, 1920. And these white folks looking around like, what the fuck did we do? What did we do? They just got free and look at all the shit they done built. I knew we should have never let these niggas free. Look at what they done built from 1865, 75, 85, 95, 1905, 1915, 1920. Look at all the shit they built. As soon as they got word that they was free, look at all the, they picked themselves up by their bootstraps with unity. Unity. But we don't want to hear that though. We don't want to hear that because those are facts. Those are facts. You just look at the timeline. We want to celebrate Juneteenth. Just do the math. Just do the math. These are facts. These are historical facts. We know that. We know when the Tulsa fires were. We know when the burning of Black Wall Street was. We know when that happened. We know when that happened, right? Right. So we like to celebrate Juneteenth. We know that was in 1865, right? June 19th, 1865. Right. We can do the simple math. We can do the simple math. So from 1920 to 2024, what excuse do we have? What valid excuse do we have? See, we don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that. I'm the bad woman for saying that. I'm the bad woman for pointing out these facts. I be that because I strongly believe that our ancestors deserve for us to honor their name. I know they turning in their grave. They've been turning in their grave. They was turning in their grave from my grandmother's generation. They've been turning in their grave. My mother's generation did even piss poor worse. I know they turning in their grave. Like I said, we got excuses. We got excuses. We got excuses. Those are just events. I mean, we got excuses. And all of these events, using these events as an excuse undermines what they went through, in my opinion. Using these events as an excuse for why we haven't honored our ancestors and rebuilt is, it undermines and it slaps in the face what they went through. What they went through. Not being able to even live. Like, you couldn't even, it was against the law to even fucking be black, much less you're just going through an event that everyone in the nation experienced. Everyone in the nation experienced going through the Great Depression. That's when the Great Depression is when they started creating all these food banks for the white folks that couldn't feed their family, for all the white men who was coming back from the war, then they couldn't feed their families. That really ain't have nothing to do with us. It really had nothing to do with us. But see, all these excuses just undermine what our people actually went through and survived and thrived afterwards. We don't want to have that discussion. That's what I'm saying. We want to come back, and that's a slap in the face to them. That's a slap in, because if any of them was still alive from back then, they would they would say what I'm saying. Because come on, you talking about, but I showed you, like success leaves clue. They showed us how to do it. They showed us how to do it. And all you got to do is just read some of the things that aren't in the mainstream. Some of the books of some of the people that aren't in the mainstream. Some of these people, and like I said, my dad, when he told me that, it was from someone who was born enslaved, and him, from his perspective, regardless of whatever, because what they showed us is that if you and when you unite, there's nothing you can't do, there's nothing you can't overcome, there's nothing you can't accomplish. So none of that matters. None of that, the Great Depression, the this, the that, the this, the that. We don't have, we just, he thought black people would never work for whites again because he thought we would get stronger as a people. He thought we would be tighter bonded as a people. Why would the Great Depression, and if that was a factor, how come there's not the same level of discord within the white American community? How come there's not the same level of discord within the white American community? We were all in America during all these things. We were all in America. Hey, hey. Happy birth anniversary. Okay, so that started in the 1600s. So then from 1865 to 1920, they built up so much wealth and land and businesses. I'm missing it. Maybe I'm just stupid. But if the black people's depression was still going on in the 18 and early 1900s, then they proved that that shit don't matter. They proved that it don't matter. But no one's commenting on those dates though. Nobody's commenting on Juneteenth, 1865, to all the wealth and businesses and land and ownership that black people built to be burned down by 1920. And I'm going to leave it on that because I can't keep reading the excuses. I can't keep I can't keep getting into it. I mean, we just don't get it. And we just don't want to get it. If the black people's depression started in the 1600s, um, again, what is, I'm only 49. So I'm only 49. You know, I'm not 25,000 years old. So all I know is from 1865 to 1920, my black American ancestors built up a whole lot of wealth, businesses, and land. That's what I know. From 1920 to 2024, we've allowed all that shit to be taken. And all we do now is make excuses and work for these same white folks that this dude in the documentary that my dad told me about said he'd never think black people would ever work for white people again. And again, like I told my dad, he didn't think, which my dad disagreed with. My dad is a Missouri slave minded man. My dad disagreed with it. I don't care. This man of the documentary that you saw, Dad, that you're telling me he out of his mouth, who was born enslaved, said, I don't think black folks will ever work for white folks again. I said he didn't think that we would become as soft as we are because he saw all that his people had done. He saw what they had done. That's why he said that. He saw all of the businesses that they owned. He saw all of the land that they bought. They didn't steal the land, they bought the land. Back then, they were able to buy land legally and own the land, and it was stolen from them illegally. But they were able to buy the land back then. They were able to open up businesses legally back then. They were able to register their name on businesses back then. So many businesses, so many of their own practices. We had law offices, we had dental farms, we had everything we needed within our community. And from 1865 to 1919, that is what they built up. That was burned down in 1920 and kept being burned down and kept being stolen and kept being ripped off because we kept being picked off because we just got softer and softer and scarier and more afraid and more afraid and more afraid. How come nobody's tapping in on that? Like, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. How come nobody's tapping in on that? How come nobody's tapping in on that? Nobody's tapping in on that. This should be a positive upliftment. Like, this should make every black person feel good instead of feeling defensive. This should make every black person feel like, yeah, we can do this shit. We can. That's right. They weren't stealing. We can. We can. Absolutely we can. Absolutely we can do this. We take no strength. We want to dick ride our ancestors, but we don't want to take any strength and power from them. Why don't we want to pull from their strength and pull from their power to say, I can do this? Because although all my relatives keep telling me no and keep uh tiptoeing and scat dancing around, oh, I gotta go and work for these white folks because I got a family. Until my last breath, I'm gonna continue to attempt. Until my last breath, I'm going to continue to attempt to build with my people until my last breath. I've been going since I was 20. Since I was in my 20s, I mean. Because I pulled power. I pulled strength when I read and wrote a paper in school on Nat Turner. They wasn't teaching us about Nat Turner. They wasn't teaching us about Nat Turner in school. They wasn't teaching us about the real blacks who wasn't MLK. But that's what I wanted to read. I wanted to read from the blacks who were revolting, the blacks who were proud to be black and was standing up for being black, not the ones I didn't want to read about them ones who was bowing down. I don't give a fuck about them. I don't give a fuck about a bow down ass. Mm-mm. So I pulled strength from reading Nat Turner's real story back in the early 90s. I pulled strength from that. I pulled strength from reading Mary McLeod Bethune's story. I pulled strength from that, and it's just like when I speak on these things now, it seems like everything I hear is just from a place of weakness and defense. Why are we defensive? Why are we defensive against one another when speaking about what our ancestors built in 60 some years that we have not rebuilt in 100 years? And all we have are excuses. And then I ask again, what is Black culture? What is Black culture? I guess it's nothing. So, thanks y'all for tapping in and engaging, and thanks for all your comments. This was, I think, a good debate. Not even a debate, discussion. This was a good discussion. Come back next time. Peace, y'all.